everyone, it's Jennifer Hoffman of EnlighteningLife.com, and in this little video we're going to talk about relationships and the multidimensional wobble. Now, I did a previous video on the multidimensional wobble, which happens when you're in your 3D reality. You increase your awareness, so you become aware that, hey, I'm not really happy with my 3D, very closed system with no potential and no opportunity for expansion. I want to awaken. I want to wake up and bring more energy in my life. And then what happens is you go through the multidimensional wobble. So you're down in 3D and then you're up in 5D and you're down and up, and this goes like this, and your whole life gets upset because now you're between dimensions. You're wobbling between the two dimensions. So that's kind of an overview of what generally happens, and it has some very specific consequences. And I said that I would do a video on what happens to your relationships. So to do that, I'm going to use these little sticky notes because I'm going to show you kind of what happens to relationships. So imagine that, I think I might have to get some Scotch tape. Hang on. So imagine what happens when you have relationships. Now, in your 3D reality, your relationships define your reality. So think of the relationship you have with a partner or your family or your children or your job or where you live or the house you live in. That really defines your life. It makes you living in a nice house or living in a safe place, makes you feel secure. Everything, your whole 3D reality is grounded in material because 3D is the material dimension. So you've got all these different aspects of your 3D that are kind of grounded here. So you got this 3D reality that looks like this. Here's my relationships, here's my house, here's my job, my family, all these things. I'm really secure here. Well, that works until one day you wake up and you look around and you go, wait a minute, I don't really like this anymore. I want something different. I want a different reality. So what happens? Well, you start expanding your reality, and all of a sudden your relationships, see how they're just kind of hanging there, and actually I have them Scotch taped or they would all fall off. So now your reality is like, well, I don't know about this, but see how this little piece right here, and that's kind of interesting, it happens. So see how these little things are stuck together because those parts of your reality get stuck together. So the rest of you expands, but these things kind of stay grounded in that 3D energy. And then guess what else happens? So now you expand more and more. All of a sudden you start going into your multi-dimensional wobble. And what happens? We lost one. Your relationships start to fall apart. Why? Because they are aligned with your 3D reality. And as soon as you start expanding, they have to create a different level of alignment. And then when you start moving into higher frequencies and you really start going into that multidimensional wobble, these relationships have a really hard time. Some of them last and some of them don't. The ones that really last, and this is where I often talk about integration and alignment. So integration is how things fit together. Alignment is how they line up. So the person who is aligned with you is walking on a parallel path. Your paths are equal. They're not necessarily in your path, but their paths are equal. When they are integrated with you, you have similar beliefs, similar energy types, similar energy frequencies. The only people who can truly get through your multidimensional wobble, and I'm going to show you why I chose this, because I'm talking about integration and alignment here, are the people whose beliefs, whose energies are really aligned with yours. So these people, not only from a 3D perspective, they are already aligned with you, but when you decide to change frequencies and change dimensions, they change frequencies and dimensions with you. So these are the people who on a 3D level are aligned with you. In your expansion, they're aligned with you. And when you start wobbling multidimensionally, they don't budge. Why? Because they are totally aligned with you. And these people eventually will fall off because they cannot handle this new frequency. And when you start to awaken, when your awareness opens up and you want a higher dimensional life, or a higher dimensional frequency, they want the same thing. So when you open up, they follow that path with you. They open up too. When you rise in your frequency, they rise in their frequency. When you do the multidimensional wobble, they're right there with you because they're going through their own multidimensional wobble. And eventually, they are the relationships that will stay with you because they are also at that frequency. So what I have talked about too is I think in my alignment course, which I know a lot of you have asked me about, I'll be releasing a lot of those at the end of this month and into September as summer's over and now we can kind of get back to normal. But one of the things that happens is we tend to create false alignments, and false alignments are really where we have a relationship. Maybe it's not very fulfilling, but we protect the relationship. Let me get down to your level. Let me align myself with you. Let me integrate with your energy. Oh, my light's too bright. Okay, let me turn it down. You think I'm too spiritual? Okay, let me be a little bit less spiritual. I'm annoying you with my frequency. Okay, let me turn my frequency down. We create false alignment, and we create false alignment because we think we have some kind of karmic obligation to that person. We think we have a commitment to them. We think we have responsibilities to them that are such that we must keep them in our lives. So we try and align ourselves to them. Well, that works, again, to a certain point. But when you start opening up your awareness, so you think this person's aligned with you, and you start opening your awareness, all of a sudden that foundation is gone. And the more you wobble, there they went, they eventually fall off. And the cost to you of maintaining these false alignments and these false, what it's also called false congruence, is that it keeps your energy down. And you can only do that for so long. Eventually, you get tired of not being yourself, of not being in the frequency that fits you. You start looking in other directions. You start feeling powerless, and you are powerless because you're not operating with all of your energy. So this is what everyone is going through. I hear over and over again in the mass media, the Great Awakening. People are talking about being awake, being woke, waking up, which is fantastic. But what that means is, here you are in your 3D reality, you're waking up. Now you're opening your awareness, and now you're bringing in new frequencies so that you can go to different dimensional levels. You're up here in 5D, but you're still going to go through that wobble until you find a place where you feel aligned and grounded and congruent with all the energy that you're bringing into your life. These people will follow you because they are perfectly aligned with you. These people, hang on, these people who are kind of stuck here, well, they have a choice, and it's always their choice. They can become integrated and aligned with you and follow that higher frequency path. Or when things start getting wobbly and things start getting bad, they'll either hang in there or they will fall off. So those of you who are losing relationships and losing friends and finding that your relationship with your family is no longer there, maybe no one's even talking to you anymore, that's part of this process. Don't despair, because we're moving from the karma of our biological family. Even if you're adopted, there's a karma between your biological family and your adoptive family, to the creation of energetic families. So people who, maybe we're not from the same biology, but we're from the same energy. And the people who stay in your life through this whole process are the ones who are energetically aligned and integrated with you. And you can mourn and grieve the loss of your old relationships. Please don't do that for too long. Celebrate your movement into an energetic family, into areas with people who are energetically aligned with you, because those are the only relationships that can withstand not only your awakening and your awareness and your multidimensional wobble, but who will be there when you finally find the frequency and the multidimensionality that fits you, where you can be grounded and comfortable 100% fully in your own energy and in your own light. And these people will be there because there's an energetic match, which is becoming more important now, and not just the karma, the emotional connections, the responsibilities, and the obligations that we feel towards other people. I hope this is helpful and help in assisting you in navigating this process, because it is tough. It's tough to watch decades-long relationships, people that you thought you'd be with forever, or family members that you you were really close to all of a sudden kind of falling away. And that is difficult, but it's part of this overall process. They either move along with you and because they are energetically capable of doing that, or they will fall away because they simply are not. This is one of our most difficult lessons, and that is acceptance. Accepting that other people choose to be where they are and letting them be in that energy while we go off and do our own thing. It's Jennifer Hoffman of EnlighteningLife.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.